CNN's Don Lemon has some urgent advice for Joe Biden regarding rioting and looting. Nancy Pelosi says Biden should skip the presidential debates. Plus, President Trump wraps up a big night at the Republican National Convention. All that and more. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour.
And God bless the United States of America.
All right, friends, welcome to the show. Happy Friday. I hope you had a great week. If you're new to the show, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to start with the Democrats, the media, and what's going on because they appear to be freaking out. We're going to get into more detail later in the show, but for now, I want to focus on the talking points memo, this memo that seems to be going around to the Democrats and the media, and it goes something like this. People are sick of rioting and looting. It's not polling well, so do something about it. That's been the talk this week because the Democrats have done nothing about the rioting and looting. They've condoned it. Remember Chaz in Seattle? Crime shot up over 500%. Portland is closing in on 90 straight days of rioting and looting. Chicago, murders are up. New York, murders are up. Crime is going crazy, mostly black on black in the inner cities. Rioting, looting, vandalism, people getting hurt, people getting killed, and none of that matters to the Democrats. None of that matters to the media. The only narrative that's important is if it's a white police officer against a black suspect. Anything else is just background noise. I mean, look at Kenosha, Wisconsin. It erupted in violence. Democrats said nothing. Minneapolis, a black suspect shot himself. And that's a reason for rioting and looting. It's going crazy. This guy shoots himself. Oh, I guess I'll go steal something. I guess I'll break in and bust up a business, take all their stuff, because that's what we're supposed to do. That's what's going on with the Democrats, but it's not playing well. People are sick of it. The media's catching on. The polling shows it. Here's CNN's Don Lemon talking about it on his program.
I do think that what you said, what's happening in Kenosha, is a Rorschach test for the entire country. And I think this is a blind spot for Democrats. I think Democrats are ignoring this problem or hoping that it will go away. And it's not going to go away.
So this is a blind spot for the Democrats. It's just funny how Lemon is taking this attitude now that the media is kind of on top of this, that they are saying that, hey, you guys need to address this rioting and looting because it's bad. Yet before this polling came out, they were right there in there with the Democrats saying all this stuff that it's just peaceful protesters. Even this week, before this memo really started to circulate and gain traction, they were talking about this. I'm going to put this up on the screen. This is a headline from CNN. Check this out. Fiery but mostly peaceful protest after police shooting. Are you kidding me? Fiery but mostly peaceful? Look at that picture. It's chaos back there. Stuff's on fire, but it's mostly peaceful. Conservative writer A.G. Hamilton looked at that. He blasted them with this tweet. Clowns. Irresponsible clowns. It's not even funny. Months of enabling violence and destruction by ignoring and downplaying it, thereby eliminating any pressure on politicians to take action. That's dead on. That's absolutely right. The left wants this violence. They want this chaos so they can get more power. Democrats know it. The media's in on it. They kept pushing it. Now it's coming back to bite them. The people don't want this. The American people do not want this. So now, back to Lemon, he's saying in his program that we need to address the violence. And here's what he says.
But guess what? The rioting has to stop. Chris, as you know and I know, it's showing up in the polling. Mm-hmm. It's showing up in focus groups. It is the only thing right now that is sticking.
Unreal. The violence has to stop. President Trump, your campaign, please take that, put a brand on it, run it as a campaign commercial. Because the Democrats now want to address the violence for political reasons. Now, because it's polling badly, they want to address rioting and looting. They didn't care about it before. They didn't care about it when people were getting hurt, when businesses were getting destroyed. But now that it's polling badly, they want to do something about it. Give me a break, folks. So, of course, Biden caught on too. He went on this week and said the violence needs to stop. And here's Biden.
You know, as I said after George Floyd's murder, protesting brutality is a right and absolutely necessary. But burning down communities is not protest, it's needless violence. Violence that endangers lives, violence that guts businesses and shutters businesses that serve the community. That's wrong.
Yep, Biden got the memo, but of course, when he talks about racial justice and stopping the violence, again, the only narrative they care about is a white police officer attacking a black suspect. They don't care about a white child shot in his own yard by a black suspect, or this week when a man and his stepdaughter were gunned down by a black suspect. They don't care about that. Senseless violence that does not fit the narrative, it doesn't get addressed. But this polling goes wrong. They think that Biden might lose the election, and it's not just CNN. It's the New York Times, it's Axios, it's Politico. All of them ran stories on how they need to address the violence because it's not going to play well. It's not playing well for the Democrats. So next, I want to talk about Nancy Pelosi. But first, if you're new to the show or haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. And when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified. We're making our push for 100,000 subscribers by Election Day. 100K by Election Day, and we can do it with your help. So now we need to talk about Nancy Pelosi because she might know something that the rest of us don't know. You know, there's talk inside D.C. that Joe Biden is losing it. A lot more than what he portrays in his rare appearances. That's why he's staying in the basement, because every time he comes out, he says something ridiculous. So where is he in most danger? Well, press conferences for one thing, but we've already seen that now he and Kamala Harris, they come out and make press statements and then don't take any questions. Another place where he'd be in danger is in debates. And Nancy Pelosi in her press conference yesterday addressed that with these comments.
I myself, just don't tell anybody I told you this, especially don't tell Joe Biden. I don't think that there should be any debates. I do not think that the President of the United States has comported himself in a way that anybody should, and that has any association with truth, evidence, data, and facts.
All right, so where do you even start with that one? First of all, this whole idea that Joe Biden shouldn't debate, this is where we've gotten to in this country. This is where we are right now because Nancy Pelosi says it's better to keep our candidate hidden in the basement than have him actually speak. It is so bizarre. And then she talks about President Trump not dealing in truth, in evidence, and facts and data. When President Trump moved to shut down travel from China based on facts and truth and evidence and data, she opposed it because she's political to the core. It doesn't matter what Trump does. When he was shutting down travel from China, she was out in San Francisco's Chinatown saying this.
That's what we're trying to do today, is to say everything is fine here. Come, because precautions have been taken. We think it's very safe to be in Chinatown and hope that others will come.
So she really didn't seem to be dealing in truth and evidence and facts and data there. Nope, she was playing politics. So what is Nancy Pelosi's solution, her idea for Joe Biden and President Trump instead of debates? She suggests having conversations with reporters. Here's what she says.
Just take their own stage for any number of conversations about any subjects. Hold them accountable. What are they proposing? What is their vision? What is their knowledge? How are we going to get it done?
Oh my gosh, do you really think that this would work? That is her solution, to have reporters ask questions, to question Joe Biden and to question President Trump. How do you think that would balance out? Do you really think they would grill Joe Biden the way they would President Trump? That they would ask him the tough questions, that they would demand answers on policies, on positions, on his record? He's been there, 47 years, has no major list of accomplishments other than controversy, other than selling out to China, other than being involved in Benghazi and IRS and Fast and Furious, on, spying on the Trump campaign. He was there for it all. Do you think they are really going to ask him questions like that? Of course not. But that's her remedy because they are scared to death to get Joe Biden out in public and give an actual real interview. It's just outrageous. So next, I want to talk about the Republican National Convention because I was doing so much yesterday talking about this. The BBC and Newsmax TV, late night after the speech, on with Sky News. You can check that out right there with some wrap up. But I wanted to give you my thoughts. After thinking about it, after hearing all this analysis, there are some things that really stand out from the Republican National Convention and then on the Democrat side too. One, this was just awesome on the Republican side. Now, I want to get your opinion because I'm not sure what night I thought was the best one. Was it day 1, day 2, day 3, or 4? For me, it's really close, but I have to go with day 3. That is the one that really, really inspired me, really made me proud to be an American, really made me say yes when you see the Madison Cawthorn standing for our flag, standing there, and just great speeches. I mean, it was just absolutely inspiring, absolutely awesome. But close second was yesterday. But it was a different tone. You know, after the speech, President Trump spoke for 70 minutes, and immediately Chris Wallace said, oh, it's too long. It was lame. You know, on Fox News' website, right next to each other, they have, this is President Trump's best speech ever. This is his worst speech ever. Well, the difference between day 3 and day 4 is that day 3 was made to energize us, to pump us up, to make us proud to be an American, to feel that patriotism, which the Democrats push aside. And day 4, for me, was let's get to work. Here is what is at stake. When you hear from Ann Dorn and saw the story of how her husband was gunned down senselessly by rioters and looters, you get motivated. Dana White pumped me up. Rudy Giuliani laid waste to Black Lives Matter. Their lies, the whole thing that they are based on. He was awesome. And then President Trump laid out the laundry list of items on why Joe Biden is bad for the country, why he is a Trojan horse that would just open up the doors to the far left. It was very good, and it gave you the sense that now you're inspired, now you're fired up, let's get to work because this is what's at stake. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was great the way he went after Joe Biden. I thought it was great the way he picked apart parts of the Democrat platform, saying, hey, this is what Joe Biden represents. This is what he wants. I mean, higher taxes, open borders, you name it. That's what the Democrats are pushing. They have no message other than the far left. Now, on the Democrat side, they have to be freaking out, folks, because with our lead story, I showed the polling is not with the Democrats. And if you look at just little instances of what's going on, it really paints a picture that they think that things are going in the wrong direction. Just think about it. Michelle Obama at the convention, at her convention, making this push, please get out to vote. Please get out to vote. Hillary Clinton telling Joe Biden, you shouldn't accept the results of the election. Be prepared to challenge it in court. Nancy Pelosi saying Joe Biden shouldn't debate. And now CNN in the media saying, hey, we got to change this message because riots and looting aren't polling well. This is the internal information they're getting, and it's manifests itself in statements like this from Hillary Clinton and Nancy Pelosi, showing that something needs to change. But you get Joe Biden out there, just like yesterday, this week, saying that this is President Trump's mess, the violence in these Democrat-run cities. Every time he speaks, it's nonsense. So what do? The Democrats are feeling that. They're freaking out, and we have it on our side. We have the momentum. Polls actually tightened after the Democrat convention. There was no bump. And then when you see what happened this week, and here's one thing that really stood out to me, really stood out. We've got the Democrats knocking the convention because they think we're trotting out minorities for speaking roles and try and make balance. Well, let me tell you this. I've seen a lot of these conventions, and never have I seen one that looked and sounded and felt more organic, more natural when it comes to bringing everyone together, white, black, brown, you name it, for a cause, for the conservative cause. You felt it. You saw it. These speeches were about coming together and what Donald Trump has done for them. And it wasn't like just one black office holder. We had cabinet officials, senators, state officials, local officials, common people saying how President Trump impacted their life. It was so organic, so awesome, and the Democrats have to be hating themselves because all they are is hate and anger, and President Trump's bad, and using minorities as wedge issues rather than as people, Americans, coming together and seeing the benefits of America. It was incredible. It was awesome. the Democrats are freaking out. So now, with all that left-wing stuff, all the stuff we've heard this week that we see that's going on, we need to ask ourselves, we need to ask the left, do you have a relaxed brain?
I got what you call, like, I don't know, a relaxed brain.
All right, first for relaxed brain, this week there's one clear winner, and that's the NBA. LeBron James, all the wokeness, the woke mob, they get Relaxed Brain Award for this week because it is just, they are so just governed. The NBA has no spine. They let the players run the show. They are moved by Black Lives Matter, which is all based on a bogus narrative that is promoted by the Democrats and the media and now corporations because they're too spineless to stand up. Now, because of the violence that broke out, they're going to boycott their own games. They're going to postpone their own games. People don't care, of course, but then they have a meeting and then they say, you know what? I think we'll go back to playing. It doesn't matter. Stay boycotted. We don't care. You guys are so lame with the wokeness, the jersey slogans, Black Lives Matter painted on the court. People are sick of that. They just want their sports. If you're not going to give it to them, we're going to tune out. We'll find something else to watch. So next is the Democrats' pettiness. Pettiness when dealing with people and the Republicans. When someone gives a good message, they have to tear it down. I brought up this one. First Lady Melania Trump gives a great speech. Bette Midler, far left wacko, she tweets out this. Oh God, still can't speak English. A legal immigrant, a citizen of the United States, speaks 5 languages, and Bette Midler blasts her. Just so petty, just so angry. Then I mentioned Madison Cawthorn standing for the national anthem, standing up. That act, that speech was actually criticized by that left-wing reporter Al Cinder for PBS. She tweeted this out following the speech. Madison Cawthorn made it a point to stand, suggesting that all Americans too should stand during the Pledge of Allegiance and national anthem. It was a direct rebuke of actions by people, including black athletes who are currently sitting out games protesting police brutality. Wow. It's as if the only proper way to address the flag and the national anthem is to kneel for it. In her eyes, in the eyes of Black Lives Matter and the far left, that's the only thing acceptable now. If you stand for the national anthem, if you stand for the flag, it's an affront to them. It's an affront to Black Lives Matter. It's outrageous, folks. We should be standing. They should be called out. And to go after Cawthorn for standing, it was outrageous. She was blasted on social media. She definitely gets a relaxed brain. Folks, that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe. And when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified. And we'll see you next time. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour. Okay, friends, thanks so much for watching. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you'll be notified. And here's a special video just for you so you can watch even more of the 13-minute news hour. And don't forget to check out GOPUSA.com for the best in conservative news and commentary. We'll see you next time.